Well, welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean right here on the Rock Rage Radio Network, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk. And I have you know what? You're the second person I know that spells his name Darin. Darin
Yeah,
Foxx,
who's the
somebody's
first?
hero. How are you?
Good. How you doing, brother? What's happening?
Good. And I always love to ask this because every time that I get Brian sending me one of his folks, you reside where?
Melbourne, Florida, Brevard County.
So how did you guys fare in the storm?
We did really good, bro. I never lost power. A couple tree limbs, a little bit of cleanup, but besides that, blessed.
Well, that's good because
Yeah,
some
man.
people weren't that so lucky. So good for you. Tell me about nobody's or somebody's hero. Nobody's hero.
It was almost nobody's hero at first.
Well, hey, so I didn't have it wrong.
No, sir. We established in 2020. Me and Harvey, Steve, the guitar player, he had wrote some songs after our band Who Was I broke up, which was our touring band. Went overseas, all sorts of cool things. Anyhow, he wrote these songs and I heard these songs and I said, you know what, dude? I've got to sing these songs. You're not doing this by yourself. He said, Darin, go find two people. And I found a bass player and I found a drummer. Boom, here we are. Somebody's hero.
So for you, was that pre-COVID? Like, were you guys a COVID project, or did it happen before or after?
It happened before.
Okay.
Right before. Yep.
And so I always tell people, I mean, my podcast was a COVID project. I'm a musician. I was playing, but I didn't get to play. So I just decided to start interviewing some of my musician friends, and away we went. So,
Yeah.
was there any part of COVID that became part of the band in terms of using technology, trying to do different things? That anything like that come out of it?
Well, I'll tell you what came out of it, some great songs. Great band camaraderie. Me and Harvey, the guitar player, have been together since he was 14. My drummer actually was my first drummer when I was a kid, but 30 years separated. Now we're back. It just
Right.
gave us a lot of time to get to know each other and see how good we're going to be as people and as musicians. You could be the baddest guitar player, the best singer in the world, and if you ain't working as people, forget it. And
So in terms of the songs, and Brian sent me some of your material. I hate, and I say this every time I do a curtain call artist interview, but it's just the easiest way for my viewers to kind of figure out what they're into. So as a comparable, if you were to compare your sound to another band, who might that be?
poof. I mean, every song in our album is different, bro. We got some that are ballads that remind you of a Striper meets somebody, Alice in Chains. And then we got one that maybe sound like Pantera meets Judas Priest, Iron Maiden. We're just kind of all over the map. I can pretty much sing anything. They can play anything. So we just, whatever works. We don't have a formula. We just do what we feel.
And how do you find that goes over with the audience? Because you know how it works, right? In this day and age, they talk about attention spans being so low, and capturing people's imaginations is very, very hard.
Hmm.
Do you find you're able to do that with the formula that you guys pursue?
I think it works. I think it just gives them like a different style of music every song. They're not just, you hear one song, I'm not going to say any band names, but the whole album's going to sound like that.
Right.
We like to give you something different every song.
Sure.
Maybe a different genre. Maybe you got a Priest right here. The next song might be an April Wine ballad kind of sounding heavy song. You don't know. Which,
Well, I love the Canadian reference because April Wine, they're from my neck of the woods. They were so I'm in Halifax, Nova Scotia, right? And Halifax,
cool.
a lot of our scene is Celtic and folk and all this stuff. And April Wine was the band that was like, okay, if they got in Halifax and took on the world, maybe there's hope for the rest of us. So
Yeah,
love
man.
the reference. Love the reference.
Yeah.
How did you go about recording the music? Because I talk to people and sometimes they use technology, they use new studios or different sorts of things. How did you guys do that?
Well, a couple of our friends own studios and they're very, very well known. So they said, come on in, let's record. That's exactly how that happened. They're brothers and they love our music as well. So that helps.
Well, that's a bonus. One of the things that always fascinates me about, and I'd say it's pretty much every curtain call artist that I've interviewed to date, and I've had a lot of them, and they're all a little bit different, but they're all great. But they all seem to have some measure of success outside of where they live, right? So they're not just a hometown band. They've done tours, or they've, in your case, you said you went to Europe. What do you think about? And the other thing too is I've talked to a lot of bands from Florida. What do you think it is about your area that seems to have so much success? Because I mean, probably the last 6 bands that I talked to were out of Florida.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Our area used to be big where we are, Melbourne, but up the road, Orlando, Daytona, Jacksonville, those places are kind of Orlando, especially. You know,
Right.
it's right up the road. So many different genres come out of there. So many big rock stars come out of there. You know, Trivium came out of there. So a lot of good folks. I think that's I don't know, maybe there's more people, there's more different varieties of music in Orlando than there are maybe here in Melbourne itself. We're kind of slowing
Right.
down a little bit. I'm trying to build that back up. Our band is here in Melbourne
So,
because it's slowed down.
um, some bands that I like. The guys in Warren actually for a while in the late '80s played in I think the Tampa area, if I'm not mistaken, before they went to
Who,
LA.
Warren?
Yeah.
Yeah, Jenny
Um,
Lane.
yeah, for sure. And I mean, he was in the band down there. Some other bands that I think of, Saigon Kick is from that area. Um, what's
Creed.
well, there you go. There's another one. Well, what's the scene like? I guess in Florida, like the state itself, is there a bunch of I guess different scenes? Is it pretty much the same right across? How's that work?
No, it's different. It's different, brother. Every town's different. You know what I mean? Every town's different.
Yeah,
Jacksonville might be is way different than Orlando. Their scene's more of a metal bone crusher, all kind of in your, you know what I mean? In
right.
Orlando, it's such a variety. So you can just get your varieties of music in Orlando. That's my favorite place to go. I love to
Oh,
play there.
well, and I have heard that, and I've heard that um, I guess population density versus number of venues is actually quite good down there. Is that a fair statement?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, man.
So, what are your plans with this record? I mean, you put some stuff out. I'm assuming you guys are doing the streaming and all that stuff. Are you getting some airplay? Are you planning on doing I don't know a tour, some more tours? What is your I guess the rest of
Well,
2024 and 25 look like?
we want to actually I got some notes I took down if you don't mind here.
Yeah, please.
We're going to be doing this live stream performance next year, which we can have the opportunity to play in front of all fans worldwide live, have them ask questions, have us play a song if they want to. Hey, can you guys play this one? Do that. Kind of interact with us, and we're going to do that worldwide and try and get out a bunch of festivals. And the album's almost done, so
Well,
that's
that's
the plan
great.
here.
And I mean, you know, in this day and age too, I mean, it's not a secret. It's really hard to get your music heard. Have you set up a strategy yet for how you're going to release it? Is it going to be a full release right out of the gates? Are you going to do what they call the waterfall strategy? What do you guys plan on doing with
We're
it?
we're kind of doing the waterfall strategy now.
Okay,
Before we got with Curtain Call Records with Brian and Gigi, and bless their great people, love them people. I've got to say that right offhand.
great.
Brian Moore, Gigi, John Kuntz, great people. They're helping us out a lot with that. We've dropped 6 singles already. We didn't want to give it to them all at once. Kind of
Great.
like the bull, kind of let's just walk down there and give it to them all instead of doing them all at once, kind of
Sure.
thing. So that's our plan is keep on doing a single, and then when it's all done, let's throw it all out there at once. Then with a video
Um,
and lots of stuff.
well, no, I think in this day and age that makes sense because again, back to attention spans. I mean, they're just not there, unfortunately. We're in a cell phone, social media driven world, right? So I mean, to catch them for any more than 25 to 35 seconds is a stretch. One of the things I also like to do because I haven't officially called this a curtain call records segment yet, but I mean I'm doing awful lot of their bands interviews and stuff. If you could, I guess, speak to that group for just a minute about a why you went with them, b what they bring to you, and what just what you think overall they bring to the party.
Um, well, how it started really was we did this small video, Walk Away. I don't know if you saw that video yet.
Yep.
We did that on our own in our studio. We edited it ourselves, and we just kind of put it up there on Facebook. Then I got a phone call from Jacqueline Jolie, and she says, "Hey, I'm with Curtain Call Records. I kind of street team for them. My CEO, John Kuntz, wants to talk to you immediately." I'm like, "Whoa, okay, cool. 58
Yeah.
years old, man. I mean, anything's cool for me. Let's just go."
Yeah.
And I called them, and they loved our music. And so far, it's been a great relationship, brother. And they put us on the air worldwide. We have weekly meetings with him. He just keeps us involved in what's going on, how many spins we've had, what's happening. He's on it for us. And
Yeah.
I felt so comfortable and happy that I can just write my music and do that, and not have to worry about all the other crap for the most part. We do worry about it, but he takes care of a lot of it for us, which we're so grateful for. And they
Well,
got
it
our
is
back, you
important.
know.
it is important because networks are everything. And I mean, if you we talk about it on my show all the time that um, the music community, everybody thinks the music community is a vast beast, but it's very, very small.
Yes,
And you know, if you're one of the people that are kind of not in it for the right reasons, you get smoked out pretty quickly and found out pretty quickly. So that's a great point. And I will say this, Darin, everybody that I've talked to has that consistent message about those guys. So I think that's fantastic.
that's a great thing. Yeah, yes, sir. I did my research and talked to a few people. He moved here from I think a different state, and he said he wasn't going to have a band in his backyard ever. He would never hire a band. Well, it's
Yeah.
funny. My drummer's his next door neighbor.
Well, there you go.
So how'd that work out for you, John? Woo!
So just before we wrap here, where are my viewers going to find out more about you guys and how they get a hold of your music and see what you're up to?
Well, they can go to somebody'sheroband.com, and that will show them everything. All of our links to our videos, our music, our shows, our we got shirts. We're gonna have a big old stream thing for our shirts and our merchandise sales online now. So that's where you can find us, somebody'sheroband.com.
Thank you, Darin Foxx on the Rock Rage Radio Network. We are back after this.
Appreciate you.